right? So this is stress or tensile strength. And then this is deformation over here. And so we'll take a piece of metal and we'll put it in a testing device and we'll pull on it. And as we pull on it, we'll add a few pounds of force and the metal will move a certain distance. And then we put a few more pounds on it, the metal moves a certain distance. Put a few more pounds on it, it moves. Eventually, we get to a point where the metal starts moving more than the actual, we're adding stress, but now we're not adding that much stress and we're getting a lot of movement. This distance, or this area of the curve, this is a stress or strain curve. This right here, this straight line, is something called this is the technical stuff. This is where people's eyes glaze over. Modulus of elasticity. Okay? Well, if you think about it, you know, a spring is a torsion bar that's been wound in a coil. Well, you can compress that spring and it goes right back to where it was before, right? That's that memory you were talking about. Well, I can take a body panel and I can bend it, let go, and it'll come right back. That is within this modulus of elasticity. When you get out to here, you've exceeded the tensile strength of the material and it begins to yield. And when it begins to yield, you'll bend it and then you let go and it stays in that position. Right? So what we're doing when we hammer this, there's a bunch of things that are going on, but we're returning the metal to its original shape. At the same time, we're making the metal a little bit thinner and harder in here. So the metal gets harder as a result of this process. Now, when you get really bad shit like this, you can straighten it, but you got to heat it up to where it's red hot. And actually, that's a good idea. Let's go with these and burn.
Ooh, we're going to use fire now.
Won't take long. You have a hammer?
Yeah, I got a hammer.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning.
Ooh, flavor.
Okay, now if you'll notice, the metal is starting to glow. That means it's becoming flat, nice and hot. Nice and hot. If you'll notice, the metal is starting to warp a little bit too, because it's expanding. So we got a nice hot spot there.
There you go.
Right? Let's slide this thing in here, burn myself. And
yeah. Get it, Sherman.
so you do that, then you come back and heat it up again. I love the smell of old car in the evening. Now we're going to do some hammer off work. Try to push that back out a little bit. So the problem is that this needs to be shrunk. You'll notice it's better than it was before, but I actually need to take that hammer and shrink it a little bit by doing this. and it's lather, rinse, and repeat. Now this is actually sunk in a little bit, so we have to work it a little bit from the back side to bring it back out. But you get, I'm just doing this for demonstration.
Nice hammer.
Okay.
So I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. And no, this, I bought these from a cheap-ass China store in Michigan a million years ago, and I'm down to like one hammer. So I gotta buy more. Anyway, you get the general idea. So heat is your friend with heavily distorted items. This isn't so distorted, so we were able to work it out cold. But if it starts to get hard to work, what you do is you heat it up again like that, and it anneals or takes the metal back to its original state, and you can start to work on it again. Because when you're beating on it like this, it's called work hardening, and it makes the metal hard. And you can get to the point where as you're work hardening the metal and it was heavily distorted like back in here, if we worked that enough, we would probably either crack or tear the metal because this has been so distorted. This thing back in here where it's been pushed in 1/4 of an inch to try to heat that up, pull it out, you tear the metal, which is why we went out and got another piece that like this, and why I don't mind beating out the snot out of it here, because that's how it's done. And you can see that somebody took a hammer and tried to straighten this up, but they did the technique, I'm gonna hit it really hard and it's gonna go back into position. Doesn't work that way.
No.
It's 1,000 little taps, and that's how you get to something approximating that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, well, why don't we do some work then?
Any volunteers?
Yeah.